February 12th, 2023, State Farm Stadium, Arizona. 118 million people are watching. A woman walks to the edge of the stage. The last time she performed publicly, it was 2016. 7 years of silence. And then she reaches down, runs her hand across her stomach, and every single person in that stadium and every single person watching at home understands at the same moment she is pregnant, and she performed the greatest halftime show of her career with a secret she had been carrying for months, before the Super Bowl, before Fenty Beauty, before the $1 billion. A 16-year-old girl flew from a small Caribbean island to New York City with $800 in her pocket and a demo tape in her hand. She had one shot, one room, one audition. And the man sitting across from her was Jay-Z. What happened in that room and what Jay-Z said when it was over is something that still gets discussed in the music industry today. But the $800 isn't even where this story starts. Because to understand why Rihanna became who she is, you have to understand what she was surviving before anyone knew her name. Last time on Sammy's Atelier, we followed Taylor Swift through a 6-year war to own her music back. The NDA they put in front of her. The 6 albums she re-recorded. The moment she collapsed on the floor when it was finally over. Same channel, different woman, different war. Same refusal to let the world write the ending. This is Rihanna. And her story starts somewhere most people have never looked. Bridgetown, Barbados, 1988. Robin Rihanna Fenty is born to Ronald Fenty, a warehouse supervisor, and Monica Braithwaite, an accountant. On paper, it sounds stable. It wasn't. Ronald Fenty had a problem that shaped almost every year of Rihanna's childhood, and what it did to her body. Nobody talked about it. Her father was addicted to crack cocaine and alcohol. The violence between her parents was regular, witnessed, absorbed, and Rihanna, from the age of 7, started getting headaches so severe that her mother took her to doctors who ran brain scans. They thought it was a tumor. It wasn't. It was stress. A child's body breaking down under the weight of what she was watching at home. She never talked about it publicly until years after the fame. In a 2009 interview, she said, "I used to hear them fighting and wonder if my dad would hurt my mom. I used to put a pillow over my head to block out the sound." By the time her parents divorced, she was 14. The headache stopped, almost immediately. And what she did with that silence, that sudden freedom from the noise, is what nobody expected. She formed a trio with 2 school friends. No plan, no strategy. Just 3 girls in Barbados who liked to sing. Then, in 2003, a music producer from New York named Evan Rogers came to Barbados on holiday. His wife was from the island. He heard about a teenage girl who could sing. He asked to meet her. She walked into the room, sang 3 lines. And Evan Rogers later said, "From the moment Rihanna walked into the room, it was like the other girls didn't exist." He invited her to New York to record demos. Her mother said yes. Her father initially said no. But what changed his mind, and what happened the first day she arrived in America, set everything in motion. 2004, New York City. Rihanna records a demo with Evan Rogers. 4 songs. Rogers sends the tape to every major label in the industry. Most don't respond. One does. She flies in for the audition. She is 16 years old. She walks into a room with 2 of the most powerful men in the music business. They ask her to sing. She sings covers of Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. The room goes quiet. And then Jay-Z said something that has been repeated in music industry circles ever since. He leaned across the table, and he told the people in that building, "We are not letting her leave tonight without signing." She was 16 years old. She had flown in from an island in the Caribbean. She had $800, and the founder of Rockefeller Records had just decided she was worth keeping in the building until the paperwork was signed. She signed with Def Jam that same night, 2005, Music of the Sun. Her debut album, 2006, A Girl Like Me. She is 18, touring, writing, recording. Then, 2007, a song lands on her desk. Written by a team of Swedish producers. It was first offered to Britney Spears. Britney passed. Rihanna recorded it. It spent 10 consecutive weeks at #1 in the United Kingdom. It is still considered one of the greatest pop songs ever written. But here's the question that keeps coming up whenever Umbrella gets discussed. What would have happened to Rihanna's career if Britney had said yes? There is no answer. But we know what happened on the path she took. Good Girl Gone Bad, multiple Grammy Awards, chart success across 40 countries, a teenage girl from Barbados who used to put a pillow over her head to block out the sound of her parents fighting, had become one of the most recognizable voices on earth. But what happened on the night of February 8th, 2009 changed everything, and how she responded to it defined who she would become. February 8th, 2009. The night before the Grammy Awards, Rihanna was 20 years old. What happened that night became one of the most discussed incidents in celebrity history. Chris Brown, her then boyfriend, assaulted her. She arrived at the Grammys the next day with visible injuries. The photographs were published. The world reacted. And then, she made a decision that divided public opinion for years. She went back. When she finally spoke about why, years later, she didn't give the answer people expected. She said, "I thought I'd feel worse about it. I didn't. And that made me feel guilty." But the reason she went public about it at all, the reason she chose to speak, was not for herself. She said she thought about every young girl watching, every teenager in a situation she couldn't describe to anyone, every girl putting a pillow over her head. She said, "I became a role model by default. I had to take responsibility for that." She did. What followed was one of the most deliberate reinventions in music history. Rated R, 2009. Dark, emotional, unapologetic, loud, 2010. Talk That Talk, 2011. Unapologetic, 2012. And then, 2016. Anti. Not what radio wanted. Not what the label expected. Exactly what she wanted. Released for free on Jay-Z's streaming platform Tidal. Downloaded 1.4 million times in 24 hours. Critics called it her most honest record. Fans called it her best. And then, she stopped making music. Not because she was finished, because she had seen something the music industry hadn't yet. And what she did with that vision is the chapter of this story that most documentaries never get to. In 2017, the beauty industry had a standard. Most major foundation lines offered between 12 and 14 shades. If you were a woman with darker skin, you were an afterthought or invisible. Rihanna had grown up in Barbados. She knew what it felt like to walk into a beauty store and not find your shade. She knew what it felt like to be the afterthought. So when she built Fenty Beauty, she started with 40 shades, not as a marketing strategy, as a statement. The beauty industry called it a risk. The fastest beauty brand in history to reach $100 million in sales in 40 days by 2019. Fenty Beauty was valued at $1 billion by 2021. Forbes published the number that stopped the music industry cold. She became the wealthiest female musician in history. But here is the detail that matters. She made more money selling foundation shades than she made from every album, every tour, every streaming platform combined. And the reason why she made 40 shades instead of 14 is the most important detail in this entire story. Because it goes back to Barbados, the girl who felt invisible, made sure nobody else had to. February 12th, 2023. She hadn't performed publicly since 2016. 7 years, 118.7 million viewers, the largest halftime audience in Super Bowl history. She opened with Beats Better Have My Money. She closed with Diamonds, and in the middle, she touched her stomach. The internet figured it out in 11 seconds. Rihanna was pregnant. She had performed the most watched halftime show in Super Bowl history while carrying a secret. She said afterwards, "I thought, what better way to do this? I could still be sexy, still be me, and also show my baby, May 30th, 2025. Ronald Fenty, her father, died of pancreatic cancer. He was 70 years old. The man whose addiction had shaped her earliest years. The man who had given her headaches she carried in her body until the day her parents separated, was gone. She flew to Barbados for his memorial. She didn't speak publicly about it for weeks. When she finally did, she kept it private, as she always has. The things that matter most to Rihanna, she has always known which ones belong to her. She left Barbados with $800 and a voice that one man in a room decided was worth stopping the meeting for. She survived things she didn't ask to survive. She built things nobody told her she could build. And when she finally had the power and the money to do anything she wanted, she didn't build the world's most exclusive beauty brand. She built the most inclusive one, 40 Shades. Because she remembered what it felt like to walk into a store and not find yourself on the shelf. That is not a business decision. That is a woman who never forgot where she came from, using the most powerful version of herself to make sure what she felt invisible never had to feel that way again. She left with $800. She came back as Barbados's greatest story, and the island she left is still the reason she does everything she does. You can leave a place and still become its greatest gift to the world. Next time on Sammy's Atelier, she was rejected at 9 years old. She has 32 Grammy Awards, more than any artist who ever lived. The full Beyoncé story, the rejection, the father's sacrifice, and the empire built on refusing to be ordinary is next. Subscribe, turn on notifications. This one will stay with you. And if someone in your life needs to hear the Rihanna story, send it to them. This is Sammy's Atelier. Every story feels like a movie.
Some heard no 1,000 times before hearing yes. Some carried out heavier than success. Some lost everything and started over again, learning that the strongest people rise.